is America's coolest conservative and the future king of talk radio. 107.9 FM WBT presents The TJ Ritchie Show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it is on. Welcome. I was just having a little chat with the producers of the TJ Ritchie Show, as we call it, down the line. And we just had it in Sharon Thorsland's sports update. A little interview, little clip from Duke's head coach, the slovenly head coach from Duke, who dresses like a rapper in a tracksuit. What's his name, Lonnie?
John Shire.
John Shire. Yeah. Is that his street name, or is that the name his mama gave him?
That's the one his mama gave him.
Okay. He wears a tracksuit instead of a man's suit. And again, I don't know a whole lot about college basketball, but I know that they used to wear suits, the head coaches do, and then now some of them wear the same things that the kids who mop up the sweat from the floor wear. And Duke's coach is one of those. So I didn't realize that Rick Pitino was still an active coach. And I guess that's who they played. Is it tonight? They play Rick Pitino's team?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I said, Lonnie Ray, does Rick Pitino still wear a suit? He said, yes, he does. I said, you damn right he does. Now, Rick Pitino's always been known to be stylishly dressed on the sideline. And I think that suit is going to be sending a message to your Duke Blue Devils, Lonnie Ray.
Please don't do that.
I'm telling you got a guy with a suit dressed like he's about to present himself to the world, playing against a guy who is in one of the most prestigious positions in all of college sports, dressing like he's just coming home from the YMCA. I think the charma is there for the tracksuit wearing coach to not prevail. If I were you, I'd get him on the phone and say, hey, you better wear a suit to this game. Just saying. Okay, well, it's Friday night, as you know, and let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
I've got a tiger by the tail, it's plain to see.
Oh.
I won't be much when you get through with me.
Yes.
Well, I'm a-losing weight and a turning mighty pale.
Because what?
Looks like I've got a tiger by the tail.
Tiger Woods. Woo. How damn stupid is Tiger Woods? I mean, seriously. Either he is just ridiculously stupid or he is the worst driver in the history of the world. He doesn't need to be behind the wheel either way. He's a worse driver than Halle Berry. She's got to Google that. Google her driving history. She's got some incidents. But man, why is Tiger Woods driving? The man is worth $1.5 billion. And if he knows he's on medications and stuff, so here's the story. He had a wreck. We've been talking about it all over the WBT all day, ever since it happened this afternoon. It looked like in a neighborhood from the pictures that I saw. And they say there was a pressure washing business truck with a little trailer on it. You know how they pull the pressure washers around to do the house and the deck and all that stuff. And that guy said he saw Tiger come up behind him fast, and then Tiger was trying to whip around him in a two-lane road and then clipped the guy's trailer, and then he started flipping. And then, had to crawl out of it. So he's uninjured. But, I mean, this goes all the way back to, remember when his wife found out that he had been cheating and she was allegedly trying to hit him with a golf club, chasing him out, and he jumped in his car and took off and then hit a tree? That was the first big scandal that anybody heard about Tiger Woods being involved in something shady. But again, if you have a history of bad driving, I mean, he was injured badly in a car wreck with several surgeries, broken bones and stuff. But if you can't drive and that you're not in your right mind, because even if it was medication he was supposed to be taking, then All right, let me tell you this. I have a sleeping disorder, okay? When I go to sleep, I can fall asleep, but I don't go into a deep sleep. So the medication I take puts me into a deep sleep once I have fallen asleep. Because I've had several of the sleep studies done and all of that. It's legit. But I know good and well, after I take that, if somebody said, hey, I need you to run to the store for me, I would go, I'm sorry, I can't go to the store. I can't drive because I've already had my sleep medicine. So that is the best case scenario for Tiger. Obviously, worst case scenario would be if he's taking some other kind of mind-altering drugs or whatever and then getting behind the wheel. But even if it's your medication that you're supposed to have, whether you're supposed to drive while you're taking it or not. And I mean, why is Tiger Woods in such a hurry? He's retired. Why is he in such a hurry that he's got to speed around some work truck with a trailer in a neighborhood to get to wherever he's going? Where is he going? Where does a retired billionaire have to be so quickly? Maybe it is something. I don't know. Maybe he's not retired from everything. Maybe he still has responsibilities somewhere. But why is he driving at all? What? Is it a little bit tight this month and he ran out of money? He couldn't afford a driver to take him everywhere. He can't afford a full-time or around the clock, on duty driver. I know people say, well, why would you always want to have somebody driving you everywhere? And it's not freedom and all that. But hey, you know what else isn't freedom? Going to jail. That's not freedom. Getting a DUI like he did today. Now, they said they never suspected that he was drunk, that he was, he seemed to be impaired, but not drunk. So he took the breathalyzer and he blew a 0.0. But when they asked him to take a urine test, he wouldn't do that, which I don't blame him. You're not supposed to be doing all that stuff. Let your lawyers come in, figure it out, and do your thing. But would tell me, though, that he knew that he didn't have alcohol on his breath. On your breath. But he did have something in his system, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to condemn anybody for something they wouldn't participate in. You're not supposed to do that. Like if there is a defendant and the defendant won't testify in his own case, you're not supposed to use that to get the jury to lean toward finding him guilty. I mean, in case you didn't know, I'm a radio expert, and I'm also an amateur, uneducated, uncertified attorney. So I can throw some stuff at you like that. Okay. So I don't expect I'll ever get an answer to my question as to why these celebrities and big-time rich people continue to get in trouble for driving under the influence when they can afford a driver all the time. But it still just baffles me. And I'm glad he wasn't hurt. I'm really glad no other people were hurt. No innocents got hurt. If, he is found to have been driving while he was impaired. Okay. All right. So we got a big Friday. And I'm talking about big. I'm talking about huge Friday night worth of content to throw at you. Fun, frivolity, and quite the education all tonight. So we'll get in it. Coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show is on. More next on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WBT. Night has fallen and the green-eyed patriot is on the air. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WBT.
Welcome back to unapologetic, in-your-face conservatism. Ripping it up on a Friday night here. 704-570-1079 is the phone number if you want to call or text. Thanks to Liberty Buick GMC. Bring them. Let's go. Let's go, baby. That's the way people in my home state of Louisiana say baby. Baby? No, baby. And they don't get offended if you, like a woman doesn't get offended if you call her baby. Because we don't allow feminism in Louisiana. We don't play that. Hell no, we don't play that. No, we don't. Look, when you go to fly on a commercial jet, which I don't, I've always heard that there are a lot of people who do use commercial airlines. I've just never done it. I can't imagine. Next thing you know, you'd be saying, TJ, do you go to a public beach? Ugh. No way. But I guess some people don't mind it. But when you are on the commercial jet, it's a tight squeeze for you. No matter how small you are, it's not a roomy, luxurious space kind of situation. So, in general, society in U.S. America has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So they were saying, hey, if your butt and legs are so big, or any of the rest of you, that you are stretching into the seat next to you, then you need to pay for another seat. You're using two seats. You need to pay for two seats. All right, then it hit the fan when they started doing that. How dare you, fat phobia, blah, 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 blah. So, it's so selfish to think about that. You stop and go, well, why should I have to buy another seat? Okay, well, the person sitting next to you paid the exact same price for their seat that you paid for yours. What if they decided to bring, I don't know, a big boom box onto the plane, and they put it right beside them in their seat, and that big boom box stretched in and took over at least a quarter, maybe half of your seat? Would you be happy about it? Would you think that's fair? No, you wouldn't. And this is coming from somebody who's had a weight problem for a long time. But I never reached the point where I was stretching into somebody else's seat. I never got that bad. But if I had have, I would have, you know who I would have been mad at? Me. That's who. Not the airline for telling me to buy another seat. They would say, hey, Fatas, you need to buy another ticket. Actually, if I had ever made it to the point where I needed a seatbelt extender, that would have been a big wake-up call for me. I was close. I'm not going to lie. I was close. I never made it that far. And I'm not judging anybody in that way because I know I've been there and I still got a way to go before I'm at the size that I want to be. But have some self-awareness. This woman does not have self-awareness. Listen to what she's complaining about because of what the airline told her.
I'm saying there's people in this world who are literally unfair. They come from different backgrounds. They come from racism. They come from all kinds of things. There is no way that you can put that much power in one person's hands. That is unsafe for, I'm going to say it, Black women specifically. We are naturally curvier. Look at our ancestors. Now you're telling me, because, okay, I'm larger. There's going to be a woman who has a big butt, who has larger thighs, and they're going to say that she's too big to be in that seat when she's not. I'm telling y'all what I know. If it hasn't already happened, that's what's going to start happening. They're going to start using this policy to pass along their racism without no questions being asked. So for the people who are fat phobic, who are just like, it's unfair, but just buy another seat, especially if you're a Black woman, y'all need to understand that this does not only affect us, it's going to start affecting more than you know. I ended up going on my trip. We figured it out. I ended up flying Delta. Thank you, Delta had no issue. Thank y'all for the ones that did speak up because y'all did give me personally the courage to tell my story. I mean, honestly, I probably never was going to because, like I said, I already know the type of world that we live in, and I already know that people barely give a f***. Like, if you're fat, then, like, girl, you're fat. Figure it out. And I just kind of didn't like feel safe. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all to those who did speak up. Y'all gave me the safe space to speak on this issue because I was handled with zero care. And it was totally unfair. It was absolutely discriminatory. I've never had an issue being on a flight. And because I'm larger, y'all made that assumption. But I've never had an issue. Ever. There needs to be better policies put into place. I cannot believe a company is handling people like this. People. Fat, skinny, black, white, blue. It doesn't.
Well, she didn't say anything about black, white or blue in the beginning of that. All she said was black. Now, if I'm a Black woman, I'm like, hey, don't be speaking for me. And then these terms that she's using, curvier, bigger, larger, whatever. No. Now, I don't know who said this, but somebody, when they watched that video, somebody made the observation and they said, you need to just say fat. I don't know who that was. But if anybody saw this woman and they just looked at her and they said, how would you describe this woman? Most people would say fat. She's not curvy. She's not thick. Thick. She's not thicker than a Snicker. She is fat. And when you try to cover up the truth with soft words, this is what you end up with. You end up with somebody who is fat, and they've made themselves fat, and she is pulling every excuse and blaming everybody else that she can and trying to be the victim and for people to feel sorry for her so much. Now, I get it. You're angry, but you're not angry with the person you need to be angry with, and that's yourself. There was never a day when I was at my fattest that I got up and I said, damn, who did this to me? Who the hell did this to me? Not one day did that happen. Not one day did I say, this is just racism. People of color made me fat. And this is just the way people of color are going to mistreat me because I'm man curvy. No. Now, hearing those two stories, if you are going to book a flight And Southwest is going where you're going, and Delta is going where you're going. And you're looking to be the most comfortable, and you know that they have these policies that are opposite. Which one are you going to choose? I'm going to say, hey, if I go on that Southwest flight, according to this young woman, I stand a chance of being more comfortable. Oh, and I got another question about this, about air travel and the weight of the plane and the fat people and all of that stuff. And I'm not being insensitive. I'm just being truthful. And if more people were truthful, and I'm not like, I wouldn't go up to this woman and call her fat. But if she came to me personally and hit me with all these excuses that she's got in this diatribe, I would tell her she needs to stop. Stop. You shouldn't be mad at the airport or at the airline. Not their fault. They got a business to run. It's not their responsibility to lose money because you are however you are. Okay. Well, hang on. I got these other questions coming up. Maybe you can help.
The realest your radio has ever been. TJ Ritchie is on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WPT. He is Charlotte's most charmed and dangerous, always speaking the truth, whether you like it or not. It's TJ Ritchie on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT.
Here we go. Back. I am the most famous and legendary active radio personality in Charlotte, the big dangerous city of Charlotte. And I am so thankful that you are listening to this show. Creeping up on a year since I've been doing this show. And I've already been named the hottest radio personality in the country. Like what? Where did that come from? I don't know. It just comes to me. It just comes to me. Okay, so we played this clip of a woman. She looked in her, I'd say, early to mid 20s. And she was on a Southwest flight. Big girl. Big woman. And she was on a Southwest flight, and they were trying to make her buy another seat because she was too big for just one, and she would have been creeping into the seat beside her, which is not fair. You use two seats, you pay for two seats. This idea of just because I'm fat, then everybody else has to cater to me. But there's nothing wrong with me. I'm healthy. I'm just like everybody else. If you don't want to cater to me because I'm fat, then it's fat phobia. So she piled on top of that. It wasn't just fat phobia. It was racism because she's a black woman. And this is just setting the tone for more racism against black women because black women are bigger than all other races. And so they're going to try to use that to make black women pay double every time they fly, even if they're not stretching into the other seat, even if they're not oozing over into the seat next to them. You know, this is a whole thing. She got told she needed to buy another seat, and so she took that to bring victim status onto every black woman in America. But they're always so worried about what the plane weighs, you know, weight distribution, and, you know, for safety reasons and all. So why, if they really cared about that, if that were such a big issue, and they charge you extra if your suitcase weighs over 50 pounds, they're going to charge you extra for that. Is the money that you're paying making the plane safer? Because you still got the same amount of weight on it. It's not like they say you can't fly with a bag that big. You got to take some stuff out of it. No, they'll say you got to take some stuff out of it and maybe put it in your carry-on bag if it'll fit, or pay us $25. Does the $25 make the weight that's over 50 pounds disappear? Say my bag weighs 52 pounds. And I give them $25 or $50, whatever the penalty is. Is that making the weight disappear? Because if so, I'm going to go to the airport, buy a plane ticket, and I'm going to jump up on the scale. And whatever the scale says, I'm going to give them $50 to make me skinnier. If they can magically do that with the suitcases, why can't they do that with the peoples? You know, I've had a lot of success with PhD weight loss, but I haven't been able to just give them $50 and then walk out of there 10, 15 pounds lighter. They got that kind of magic at the airport. That's the magic I want. That's the weight loss magic. And why not weigh everybody who's getting on the plane? If it's such a safety issue, like you should be allowed an amount of weight that is for the total of your body and the things that you're taking onto the plane. Your suitcase, your carry-on, your personal item, they call it, which, you know, usually means a purse. That should have to come, you know, depending on the size of the plane, should have to come under a certain number. If it's going to be fair. Because if somebody who weighs, 30 pounds more than I do, and they bring a 50-pound suitcase, then they're getting 30 pounds worth of stuff free. You see what I'm saying? So you take a little tiny person that weighs, I don't know, you say it's a woman weighs 105 pounds. Well, then she ought to get to take a 75-pound suitcase with her. It just doesn't make sense to me. And if my suitcase weighs 51 pounds, and that's you got to charge me another, like the price of another suitcase, then I ought to get to go go rustle up 49 pounds worth of something. Or, if it's 51 pounds, so I'm over 1 pound, then I ought to get go get 49 pounds worth of something. If I'm paying the fee for another bag. I want another 50-pound bag, is what I'm saying. I'm going to get my money's worth. But again, I could be lost on this because I have my own jet that I use, and I fly it myself. I'm a pilot. Not only of the airwaves, but of all kinds of things. Pilot of the airwaves, here is my request. You don't have to play it, but I hope you'll do your best. Don't act like y'all don't know that song. Don't act like it. Hang on, more coming up next.
It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 WPT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. Delivering pinpoint political and cultural analysis with wit and Southern charm. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 FM WPT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
Enjoying a Friday night with my radio family. I don't think I could be anywhere right now that I would like any more than what I'm doing. Y'all are fun tonight as well. 704-570-1079 is the number. A lot of texts just bombing in here. Love it. Let's go check some of these out. David from Concord said, started singing Pilot of the Airwaves just as you referenced it. There you go. Pilot of the airwaves, here is my request. You don't have to play it, but I hope you'll do your best. I've been listening to your show on the radio, and I think you are a friend of mine, or something like that. I don't know if I got all the words at the end there perfect, but then the rest of the song sucks. Because that first part is done a cappella and in harmony. Then the rest of the song, terrible. I mean, terrible. It's terrible, y'all. It's terrible. Let's see. Here's a good one. Any DJ that rolls into his content with Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold has got my complete attention. Love your show. Oh, and that fat girl bought sweatpants the other day in size OMG. Talking about the young woman complaining because Southwest Airlines, according to her, says she needed to buy another seat because she was too big for just one. And then she blamed it on racism, fat phobia, and I think arachnophobia as well. Arachnophobia for black women is what she said. Now let's go this one. TJ, that woman sounds like she has nothing better to do than think about all the ways everything is racist. I'm a black woman and she's embarrassing to us. That is Angel. You know, my whole life black women have loved me. That's proof right there. Angel speaks for all of them. Okay, so I always thought that Georgia was, you know, pretty much a conservative, like just a traditional conservative state, you know, a lot like Alabama would be, or, you know, one of those types of Texas, you know. But evidently the crazy liberal Marxists are coming for Georgia. This is a campaign ad for two of these nut jobs. They got together. They're running for office in Georgia for separate districts, but they're teaming up with their campaigns. Check this out. Oh,
read you to the exact paragraph.
that's not the one. Hold on. Sorry, I bumped the wrong one. Now I switched over to a cigar page. I don't know how that happened. It's very sensitive. Oh, dang. Oh, here it is. Check it.
I'm Aaron Baker, and I am an openly trans Jewish lesbian running for Georgia State House. Hi.
All right, let's stop it there. An openly trans Jewish lesbian. Now, we had this clip last night. I just didn't have time to get to it. But Lonnie Ray, when he was putting it together, he was like, what are all those? Okay. So let's go through them again. Listen.
I'm Aaron Baker, and I am an openly trans Jewish lesbian running for Georgia State House.
An openly trans Jewish lesbian. All right. That means that this is a man pretending to be a woman. He's Jewish. And since he is a man, he is sexually attracted to women, even though he's pretending to be a woman. So since he's pretending to be a woman, he calls himself a lesbian. Okay. He's not a lesbian. He's a man. He's a heterosexual man pretending to be a woman. Hand to God. Hand to God. And I say that because he's Jewish too. So, all right, here's the rest of it.
Hi, and I'm Jeremiah Olney. I am a straight, white, atheist man running for Georgia State House.
But we're both strong progressives fighting to make housing affordable.
We're fighting for working class power.
Fighting for education for all of Georgia students.
We're fighting for affordable health care.
And together, we're going to transform the Georgia State House of Representatives.
Okay. Well, now, I don't believe this guy one bit. Let's hear his part again.
House.
But we're both strong.
Hi, white atheist man running for Georgia State House.
He's a straight white atheist man running for Georgia State House. I would come closer to believing that the other one is indeed a woman. I would come closer to believing that than believing that this guy's straight. No offense. Now, the fact that you have to say you're a straight white man, you didn't have to even say you're white. All you had to do is just say, and I'm an atheist. Because it should be, if you don't feel like it's obvious that you're something, then that's when you tell people that's what you are, If it's not obvious that you're straight or white, then you would say, and I'm a straight white atheist. So you look at you, you know that you're white, all right, so you don't need to say that. But you can't look at a person and know that they're an atheist, so he needs to say that. And then he also does need to say straight. I'm a straight atheist. Because those are the two things that people are not sure about whenever you meet them in his situation. So, saying you're an atheist is, in the mind of the left, that's something that is a plus. That's something that you need to be flexing on if you're a Marxist, lunatic leftist. Okay, so then the other one, I'm an openly trans woman lesbian. No, you're not. And I always think about, there's men that go into the women's bath, they're just dying to get in there. Oh, they're just dying to get in there. And they say, I'm a woman. All right. So which is it? Okay, if you're a woman, are you attracted to women, or are you a man and attracted to women? So, if you say, like there's this one famous guy who goes around and he makes his content out of getting people to call him sir, and then he has a fit on social media about it. He admitted at Disney World, it's in the women's bathroom, and he admitted, yeah, I'm attracted to women. Okay. So you're a man in the women's bathroom with women and little girls claiming to be attracted to women. So there's nothing wrong with that? What are you saying? It's just a constant battle just to understand their crazy language. And that's by design. They don't want us to understand it. They just want to be able to change it and do whatever they want to do with it and constantly keep us on defense. So Georgia better watch out. And I have another one I'm going to play later in the show, somebody from Georgia running for office that's just about as loony as those two clowns are. All right, so hour 2 is coming up, and it is going to be jam-packed. You don't want to miss it. Hang on.
He's America's coolest conservative and the future king of talk radio. 107.9 FM WBT presents The TJ Ritchie Show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, living it up, oh yeah. Friday night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. kicking off the last hour of the TJ Ritchie show of the week. When I get finished here, I might go, I'm going to go watch TV. I might let my wife watch it with me. Maybe. If she want to act right. True story. 704-570-1079 is the number. Thank you for being so participatory on the phones and texts. I appreciate it. The phone and text is driven by Liberty Buick GMC. All right. Let me tell you something about myself. And this is a serious moment. This is no joking around for just a moment. There will be very few times when I brag on myself in a serious way, when I flex on something. Most of the time, a lot of people don't get it, which to me makes it funnier, is that all of this stuff I say, I do it with a sarcastic twist on it. You know, like the most famous and legendary active radio personality in Charlotte. While that's true, if I wasn't being sarcastic with it and just being over the top, I would never say that. I would never say it. But last night on the show, I played a clip and made an observation about the clip, and it was very important. It was a clip of a somebody that calls herself a transgender man, which is a woman pretending to be a man. That was it's an attorney and was in a courtroom and got held in contempt. I played pretty much the whole thing, arguing with the judge, wouldn't stop arguing, wouldn't take no for an answer, threw her phone down onto the table, and it fell onto the floor in, like a little hissy fit. And then finally, when the judge had enough and had the deputies come in to arrest her for contempt, she acted like she was being killed, tortured, screaming, I can't breathe, fighting them, resisting. And then at the end of her little tussle match with the police, she starts screaming, I need a female officer. I want a female officer. Get me a female officer. And I said, well, then that proves right there that she doesn't really think she's a man, and she's not really a man, because that's the only reason you would be asking for a female officer is if you know that you're a female. Okay. Well, after last night, meaning all day today, that clip was everywhere, all over the place. And I'm not saying that it went viral because I played it on this little show. I'm not saying that at all, because I have 0 listeners compared to any other radio show in America, probably. I mean, I don't have jack squat. I got 11 listeners. But I jumped on that story, and I honestly think I was the first to make the observation about the fact that proves that the whole I'm a man thing went out the window when she started yelling for a female officer. Now there's an update. This is the woman attorney in her car talking to the camera because she has stepped down from her law firm. She's left her law firm, and this is what she said about it.
But ultimately, at this time, it is the right move for me to step away. As many of you all heard, there was an incident that took place in another county, a rural county, and there are more details of that incident, and I can't release that at this time. And being as that I believe that I first have grounds for discrimination lawsuit there in that county, but for my physical safety at this time, it's best that I step away. And for my family's physical safety, it's best that I step away.
Okay. So you knew this was coming. Discrimination. I don't know what discrimination card this woman is going to play. I'm guessing is that because she said in her arguing with the judge that the judge was not treating her right because she said, because I'm a transgender man. And the judge says, I don't care what you are. And I honestly think that if it were a man, just a straight man, arguing with the judge after the judge told her to stop interrupting me. And she kept doing it. I'm not interrupting, but, you know, and that's the other thing I was saying. Well, that tells you right there, it's still a woman because she was arguing like a woman. She was acting like a woman, still a woman. Throwing her phone, the whole thing. All right. Well, discrimination. They discriminated against me because I'm trans. All right. Now here, there is proof on that video that the prosecutor, whoever was from the DA's office, was a tough-looking guy, and he was disgusted with this other attorney, but didn't seem like because it's a transgender, just because she wouldn't shut up. She was acting like a brat. And the attorney and the government's attorney, they both referred to her as him and sir and Mr. Not once did they call him out or her out for being a woman. So unless she's saying that she's got more damning evidence against them that took place outside of the video that went around on social media, then I don't know what she's talking about. And it's almost like, you know, you want to be treated like a man. You want everybody to call you a man, everybody to pretend like you're a man, everybody to live in your delusion. But then when things get tough and you start getting handled like a man that's out of line with the law, and you start resisting arrest and everything, then you start freaking out and screaming and get me a female cop. And so the narcissism in this goes right along with the narcissism of the entire transgender movement. Everybody in the country is supposed to ignore what we know for a fact about men and women and who's a man, who's a woman. And then we have to allow you to live out your fantasy, this delusion. And no matter what you do, if anybody tries to oppose you for any reason, then it's because you're trans and they're transphobic, and it's the same way that the Democrats, Marxists have built all of these walls between every group in America. The way that they've convinced so many black people for so long that everything that Republicans do is racist. Everything that anybody does that's not pandering to them is racist. Just like last hour, we played that, the young woman couldn't just be complaining because the airline said she was too fat to have only one seat. She had to figure out a way to make it racist, and how it's going to spark future racism all through the airline industry. Now, I'm going to say this. If it does turn out that there's evidence that they mistreated this woman, then you can't do that, and I'm not for that. But if all we're going by is what that video was, then they called her Sir, Mr., acted like she was a man, went along with the act, the whole thing. She just wasn't allowed to act like she had special privileges against what the judge said in the courtroom. That's it. But it says that she left her law firm. So I don't know if they asked her to leave her law firm or she just said, all right, I got a big time payoff that I'm about to try to get. I'm going to have to concentrate on that. I don't know. Because I'm guessing that it didn't look good on her when that thing went viral. And if you're in the quote unquote trans community, would you be mad at her for starting to yell at the end there that she needed a female officer? Or would you have done the same thing? I don't know. It's a shame we're even having to have these discussions. That things have gotten so out of whack with this foolishness. But it's there. We got to deal with it. Hang on. More coming up next.
TJ Ritchie. On Charlotte's FM News Talk. 107.9 FM. WPT.
Hey, wait.
Hear him on the radio and podcast. Watch him on YouTube. Like and subscribe to all social media platforms at tjritchie.com and WBT.com. Now, back to TJ Ritchie on 107.9 FM WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
Oh, what y'all trying to do? All right. I think it's about time we put our pinky rings up to the moon. Welcome back to Unapologetic In-Your-Face Conservatism with the Green-Eyed Patriot, America's coolest conservative, Mr. Ritchie. Mr. Ritchie. 704-570-1079. That's the phone number. Something funny has happened in Pennsylvania. Now, notice, just as a side note here, a teachable moment. And this is usually to my southern brethren and sisterin. Notice I said Pennsylvania. There's an L in the middle of the word. Many people would leave that out and say Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's House Democrats, they had this resolution up. It's one of these feel-good, pandering type of things they were trying to make in the state of Pennsylvania. They're trying to make March National Women's Month, okay? And I don't know if it would coincide with the Marxist, communist Women's Day, International Women's Day, or not. But just like one of those, I dare the Republicans to vote against this. They're not going to vote against it. It's just wasting time. The whole month is dedicated to women. Women's Month. All right. So it was just basically a formality. They had it, and I would play you what it sounded like on the House floor as they were getting, I don't even know what they call it, the parliamentary procedure, the House resolution for blah, 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 second, question, blah, blah. It was boring, so I'm not playing it. Because the gist of it, they had it up there basically as a formality, and then the Republicans were all ready to vote for it, along with the Democrats who were trying to push the resolution. Except they said, in order for us to vote for this, which we're all for it, we just need you in the resolution. We need the resolution to define what a woman is for National Women's National Women's Month. So there was a little bit of across the House, and then announcement. The resolution has been pulled from consideration. Yeah, it was just a done deal. Then all of a sudden they go, we need the resolution to define what a woman is. Nope, can't do that. Take it off the table. No Women's Month then in Pennsylvania. Not worth celebrating women. Not worth that much to have to define what a woman is. No, no, no. Throw that out. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So crazy. So crazy. You know, every now and then Republicans will really throw something and outmaneuver the Democrats. You know, on a sneaky kind of way, you know. I think that's cool. All right. There's another, I mean, this wasn't sneaky. This was just in your face. Representative Randy Fine. Ooh, Randy Fine. He's a Republican, and he was not having it today on the House floor. This kind of speaks for itself, but check it out.
It's not an important service the American people deserve. What I have learned in this debate is Democrats care about three things: Muslim terrorists, Somali pirates, and illegal immigrants. And what's clear to me, if we want to fund the Department of Homeland Security and get them on board, there's one simple solution. Have all of those TSA agents declare they are illegal immigrants, because then they'll rush to get the money over to them to get them funded. It is not right to keep the government closed. If you want changes in policy, let's have those debates. But the same people who demand these folks not be masked spent years demanding the rest of us get arrested if we weren't willing to wear them. The hypocrisy is stunning, and the American people are not being served. We need the job to get done. We need to get the whole thing funded, and I support the resolution fully.
Okay, now here's my only criticism with this, is that it is a waste of time now for Republicans to point out the hypocrisy of Democrats, because the Democrats are fine with having their hypocrisy called out. Everybody expects it from Democrats. It's a known thing that Democrats don't play by the rules. They are hypocrites. They are liar to a people. They are thieves. The elected Democrats are thieves. They're anti-American. All of those things. But at this point, everybody knows Democrats are hypocrites. So stick to those other things. Focus on those things. Like, what I have learned in this debate is that Democrats care about three things: Muslim terrorists, Somali pirates, and illegal immigrants. Even go into the other deal about, you know, if we want to get TSA agents paid, then replace all the TSA agents with illegal aliens, because then the Democrats will funnel money to them. They'll get them as much money as they can get them. That is the stuff that hits. Boom. Right there. Sorry, I hit my microphone. Because, I mean, let's face it, Democrats just roll their eyes. They kind of chuckle when you point out their hypocrisy. Even when when the kids, as the kids would say, bring the receipts. You know, you play the clips back to back. Chuck Schumer said this 2 years ago, and then Chuck Schumer says this today, and it's opposite things. Because you know why? Because they know Democrat voters don't care. Democrat voters don't care. Because nobody expects Democrats, professional Democrats, to be on the up and up and to be honest. They want power, and they want to win by any means necessary, and their voters know that. And they don't care. So let's stick to the direct hits of, you want this, accuse them of the stuff. Make it all accusations like this. They care about Muslim terrorists, Somali pirates, and illegal immigrants and calling them Somali pirates, I love that. These Somalis are engaged in all this fraud and everything. Call them pirates. Way to go, Randy Fine. He fine. Randy fine. Okay, I got to take a break. More coming up.
It's TJ, the green-eyed patriot, on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WPT. 11 listeners strong and holding. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 FM. Charlotte's FM News Talk WPT.
Oh, yeah. Bring in the funk. Friday night funk. A funky Friday. Unapologetic, in-your-face conservatism, courageous conservatism is on your radio. 704-570-1079 is the phone number. All right, again, I need to tell you this behind-the-scenes stuff because I hate for people to think that I have a crutch, what we call in the business a crutch, where you say the same thing when you don't really know what to say. You go to your crutch. The reason I say the phone number like that all the time is that signals Lonnie to fade the music out. Okay. Now, most professional hosts would never tell you that, but you and I connect on a level that is beyond professional host and listener. We're family, damn it. I think of y'all as family, each and every one of y'all. There's a fugitive on the loose in Wisconsin. This fugitive's name is Chesney. And Chesney is a kangaroo. It is a kangaroo that escaped from a heavy petting zoo Wednesday afternoon. So they put out this story, hey, be on the lookout. The kangaroo has escaped. Now, it is legal to own a kangaroo in Wisconsin. Now, I don't know if it's legal for everybody to have one, or you got to be a licensed heavy petting zoo to be able to have one. But either way, this is a legal kangaroo, and it got out. Now, most of the time, the kangaroo is wearing a diaper that looks like denim shorts. Not really denim shorts, but the diaper is designed to look like denim shorts. And I'm going to be honest with you, this kangaroo is adorable. Because I don't know whether this picture is recent or not, but the picture that they have that goes along with the story, the kangaroo is not grown. It's not a big kangaroo. But it's also not considered a joey, I wouldn't think, where it's in the pouch and the whole thing. But they did say, they say he could be anywhere. This is the owner who's saying this. He doesn't have his diaper on right now, so he blends in with the woods. Said that Chesney is likely scared, so please be careful with him. And then they threw this in here. This is what the sheriff said. Please don't challenge him to a boxing match. Okay. Now, you think, well, how ridiculous is that? I know I would never challenge a kangaroo to a boxing match. And it's only for one reason, and that reason is because I don't want to get my beat by a kangaroo. If you are rolling up on a scared kangaroo and you decide, I'm going to box this kangaroo, then you deserve whatever you're going to get. I'm telling you. I've only seen one case where a Maine beat up a kangaroo in a boxing match. And no, it wasn't at a outlaw bar or something. It was on the internets where the kangaroo was in Australia, obviously, because that's where they have kangaroos. The kangaroo had gotten a man's dog. And the man was, I mean, you could tell he was a tough guy. He goes out there and squares up on this kangaroo. And you just automatically think the kangaroo is about to rock back on that tail and kick him an acre away. But the guy dodged that. He dodged it and then slipped in a pow, a combination, hit that kangaroo a couple times in the face, and the kangaroo dropped the dog and squared up again, and then decided, I don't think I'm going to mess with this man anymore. And he left. But that's rare. That is rare. Lonnie, what would you do if you were out somewhere in the country and you ran across a kangaroo?
I would keep walking by.
You wouldn't try to approach it or anything, to pet it or anything like that?
Why? No.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why you notice all these stories go around about people getting hurt, trying to pet buffalo in the Yellowstone Park and all that kind of stuff, petting wild animals, and the animal ends up attacking them, or they end up falling into the enclosure or whatever. 9 times out of 10, those are going to be women.
People are petting buffaloes?
Well, yeah, and it doesn't turn out well.
Golly.
You're not even supposed to get close to them. But women think that if an animal is cute, then they should be able to pet it. It's like an entitlement to women. They need to be able to pet the animal, no matter what it is. And I think that most men, if they saw a kangaroo somewhere, would not try to approach it at all. They'd keep an eye on it and call the people and go, hey, there's a kangaroo out here, on such and such highway, and I almost hit him with my truck, but you want to send somebody out. But you got to be a special kind of goofball to want to go challenge it to a fight. But I'd like to see it. If you're that drunk and stupid, or just that stupid, then I want to see what the kangaroo does to you. And I want to see how shocked you are when the kangaroo starts whipping you right there on the side of the road. Plus, if he's wearing a diaper, that's going to make a guy think that he's even he even has that much more of a chance. Like, nothing in a diaper is going to beat me. Have you ever seen any of those videos, Lonnie, of a kangaroo whooping a man?
I've seen a couple, yeah.
I could watch those all day.
What possesses them to fight them, I don't know why, but
they got to be drunk, right? Don't they have to be drunk to be doing that?
I mean, something's making them bold.
Because, all those Looney Tunes, cartoons with Sylvester the cat, thinking that baby kangaroo was a mouse, and then the thing was whipping him every time he turned around. They should learn something from that even. Not even like watching any documentaries from down under. But I don't think people need foreign animals anyway in the United States, because they end up causing a lot of trouble for regular citizens. Like all those Asian fish that get in the rivers and stuff, like that snakehead fish, those shouldn't even have been brought in here from Asia. Now we got to deal with them. Those things can live on land. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And somebody said we have them in the Catawba River here. And you know what the Catawba River feeds?
What's that?
Lake Norman. You know who lives on Lake Norman?
You do.
Me. That's right. I do. Come over here turning those things loose. I better not be eaten by a snakehead fish. What a way to go, huh? Sitting here in the living room and a fish crawls in here and bites me because they can live on land. That's a demon possessed fish is what that is. If you can get out of the water and scurry across the land and not, live out there for a little while and then get back in the water. That's of the devil. Okay, so this has been our animal documentary story for the evening. I hope you enjoyed that. Hang on. Last segment coming up next.
TJ, the realist Ritchie, on 107.9 WPT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. Welcome back to the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk, 107.9 FM, WPT.
America's coolest conservative, the green-eyed patriot, and a big old chunk of sweet white chocolate, bringing the courageous conservatism. Oh, I got the tism. Conservatism. You damn. That is right. Oh, kind of goofy on a Friday night, you know. But y'all goofy. I'm not goofy. I'm talking about y'all. 704-570-1079. Phone number if you want to get in last minute here. You want to try to say something. What you want to try to say? All right. So earlier I introduced you to two candidates for Congress in Georgia, the Georgia state representative. One was describing himself as an openly trans female Jewish lesbian. And the other one described himself as a straight white man atheist. Like those were reasons to vote for him. And then you got a lady named Bree Woodson. She looks really young, maybe 25. And she's running for Congress in Georgia. And she's having a meltdown over some kind of a Charlie Kirk banner in D.C. I don't know. I guess she's there on vacation or something. I don't know. Or maybe she's running for U.S. Congress. I don't know. But she's from Georgia. Listen to this.
D.C. This is the Department of Education. Charlie Kirk has a banner at the Department of Education. Mind you, I have 8 letters behind my last name. Charlie Kirk never earned a postgraduate degree of any kind. I have a couple, but he's on the Department of Education. This is white supremacist propaganda. Welcome to America.
Okay. So, I mean, you see what her platform is going to be. And it also proves, again, that you don't have to be smart to have a bunch of degrees. And I'm also wondering, why have we not just demolished the building of the Department of Education? We don't need the Department of Education, and it is, I thought they had done away with it, to be honest with you. But white supremacy. So, you know, I look at it like, all right, so Charlie Kirk didn't have a degree. And Charlie Kirk would go to these colleges and he would talk to these young people who were students. And he would tell them why they, you know, could be wasting their money and their time and all of that. And I think this is a perfect example. I don't know. She said she's got several postgraduate degrees. And I'm like, okay, well, you sound like a freaking idiot. You sound like a moron. And you're stupid. You sound like it, and you are stupid. So I'm wondering what kind of a, you know, advanced mind, you know, that she has. What her advanced intellect, superior intellect. Why could she not come up with anything better as a platform or as an issue than white supremacy? That seems like that would be the easiest thing to do. Just come on, hey, I'm a black woman. I'm running for office as a Democrat. And so Here's how I'm going to get elected. I'm going to say the United States is run on white supremacy. Nobody's thought of that yet. So she's got all these degrees, just, tells normal people that she's just got extra indoctrination in her weak little mind. That's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to go out and accuse the country of being run by white supremacists. That will go right along with everything the Democrats have done ever since they have been, ever since Lyndon Johnson, when they decided that they weren't going to be openly racist anymore and that they were just going to manipulate black people and use black people to vote for them while maintaining the attitude of the same racist Democrat Party. Now, if you really, as a black person, as a black woman, you really want to fight against white supremacy, then you would not be putting a D next to your name. Ever. Because that D represents the party of slavery, of segregation, of Jim Crow, of water cannons being turned on the civil rights protesters in Alabama, the marchers, of the German shepherds being sicked on the peaceful march for civil rights in the South in the 60s. All of those things are there. That's what that Democrat stands for. That's what that big D stands for. You like that big D, don't you? Don't you, chick? Miss Bree Woodson. You're all about that big D, aren't you? That Democrat. That racist, anti-black, anti-everybody of color, anti. That pro-slavery, pro-segregation, pro-Jim Crow party. The big D. You love it. So you're making a fool of yourself because more and more people are understanding what that big D is all about. So you go out there falling in line with what those racist white Democrat Party bosses have you doing. We would love to have you on our side. You just got to quit thinking like that. You got to get that big D off your mind. Get the D off your mind, and you can be productive. Get your mind off that D and think about real liberty. What America's about. Was that my 30-second warning line? Okay. I didn't know whether your laugh was the 30-second or what. I'm trying to be serious here. Y'all clowning. I'm trying to help this young lady. Why y'all clowning? Play too much. All right. I got to go. Nick Craig is coming up next with his Nick Craig Show. God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you Monday.